It's a good AGam in Kansas morning. Good morning. Let's take a look and see what's coming up today. First, K-State's Dr. Chris Blevins takes a look at flies, how they affect your horse, and what to do about them. Next, see how carcass data can reveal opportunities to build greater quality within your cattle herd. Then we'll hear from some of the educators who attended the recent Seed to STEM summer workshop sponsored by the Kansas Corn Commission, and how they plan to take this new information back to their schools and include it in their classroom studies. Stay with us. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hello, I'm Dr. Chris Blevins with Horsing Around from Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center. Today, we're going to talk about flies and the issue with flies, especially during the summer, and how to protect your horse from flies, and is there any diseases that we'd be worried about that can be transmitted by any flies. You have to remember that there's a lot of different flies that are out there that can affect the horse. One being the most common is the house fly that's going to be around a lot of the barn areas. The other one is going to be stable flies. They look very similar to that of the house fly. However, whenever you get bit by a fly, it's not the house fly, it's probably the stable fly. And the stable fly also is the one that's going to bite the horse and cause them to do more stomping and those kind of things around their legs. Horses that are out in pasture will have also two other different species of of flies. One being the face fly, which will be around the head of the horse, and then horn flies. They can be around the head or around the back or even underneath the belly of the horse. The horn fly out in pasture can bite, and so again, they're going to be a little smaller. They still look like a house fly, but again, they're going to be a lot smaller. So identifying flies isn't necessarily the biggest aspect, but understanding that there's different species of flies can help in preventing different issues when it comes to that of the horse as an annoyance, but also as a disease that they can transmit. Now, for an annoyance aspect and just trying to protect the horse itself from flies, there's a lot of different fly sprays that are on the market to try to repel or prevent flies from getting on your horse. The biggest thing to remember is most fly products do not last forever. A lot of the oil-based products can last a little bit longer. You just have to be careful because when you start putting a lot of oil on your horse's skin, they can get a dermatitis or just an infection of the skin based on too much oils and stuff on there. So when you look at the product, always read the label and apply it as it's recommended based on the label for that. But don't get frustrated on a lot of the fly sprays because they do get down regulated or broke down by sunlight and evaporation based on sunlight and wind. And so those products are usually, that's the cause. A lot of the flies aren't resistant to the fly spray. It's just the fly sprays aren't lasting that long with on there. There's also some spot-ons that you can put on the mane, the tail to prevent things. And the aspect of kind of finishing up is that of disease. So there are some diseases that flies can, or biting flies can kind of transmit. One being vesicular stomatitis, and two being equine infectious anemia that we test with the Coggins test. Again, the prevalence of those two diseases is pretty small, so it'd have to be kind of in the area that you'd have to be worried about. But controlling flies can sure try to help prevent your horse from getting those diseases. If you ever have any questions about flies and fly diseases, contact your veterinarian or give us a call at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins at Kansas State, and we'll see you around.
To see this show and past episodes of AGam in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.
Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego is driven by the spirit of American ingenuity. Come in for a new Chevrolet car, truck, or SUV. If we don't have exactly what you want, we'll find it for you. And we also have a great selection of used cars. We make sure you have an easy, fun, and transparent sales experience that saves you time and money. But if you want high-pressure salesmen and hours spent in the finance office, you'll just have to go elsewhere. Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're making car buying great again. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
What if you knew your cattle just missed it when it came to qualifying for the Certified Angus Beef brand? For millions of cattle across the United States, that's reality. The brand's Consist study looked at data on almost 40% of the Angus-influenced or A-stamped carcasses during 3 separate 2-week periods.
We do hear that grade has continued to improve. Choice and prime percentages continue to get higher and higher. The reality of it is the bulk of the cattle still set below modest 0 marbling score, and so there are a tremendous amount of those cattle that are oh so close to making the brand's marbling specification and just are outside the money.
Cattle that moved up from a marbling score of 492 to 500 are eligible for CAB premiums.
Half of the cattle are below that 500 threshold, and so there's a lot of cattle that we say are right on the line and are just outside of that score that's required to get the $40 per head premium for certified Angus beef.
The analysis contains 850,000 records that include 4 of the brand's 10 carcass measurements: ribeye area, hot carcass weight, fat thickness, and marbling.
Biggest finding we get out of the Consist data is we look at the reasons that cattle don't make the brand. And in this case, and like all those before it, marbling inadequacies is the number one reason. Of the cattle that did not qualify for the brand, 92% of those cattle were inadequate in marbling.
Some people might wonder if more days on feed has increased brand acceptance in recent years.
That trend is true, but it's a very weak trend, in that just continuing to make those cattle better does not always mean that they're going to achieve adequate marbling. There's numerous factors, as we know, that influence marbling. That may be from how the cow was handled when that calf was in gestation, all the way through the implant and feeding program. The hot carcass weight, we'll see cattle that make the brand from as low as 650 pounds of hot carcass weight all the way up to 1,049. But it's not a direct relationship as to if they're bigger, they will meet the marbling requirements.
Sexton says an emphasis on carcass quality must begin long before cattle are placed on feed. I'm Bob Cervera.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
I had this horse. It was a good horse, except for when the wind was blowing above 30 miles an hour. Wind was blowing about 35, 40, and I saddled him up, rode him out to the end of the lane, and I thought, well, he's doing pretty good. And about 6 jumps later, I was laying on the ground and thinking, boy, my shoulders sure hurt. I kept waiting, and it didn't get better. And so I went to orthopedic surgeon, and that showed that I had torn rotator cuff. And he said, well, we'll have to do surgery. I thought, I farm and ranch by myself. This is not going to work out very well. I'd been sleeping in my recliner for about 2.5 years because it hurt too much to sleep in bed on my side. And I'd heard about Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center on the radio and gotten down there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 11:30 the procedure was all over. They just took some fat out of my side here and spun that down for about 45 minutes and then injected it in my shoulders, and I was on my way. It's something you don't hear about, but I thought it was worth a try, and I'm really pleased. It's really worked out well for me.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We are actually alum of the very first Seed to Stem workshop put on by the Kansas Corn Commission last year.
Kansas Corn noticed that we were utilizing all of these lessons and invited us to come back, basically so we could share our knowledge with them and share our expertise in these labs.
So I heard about it because I went to CATS Camp, Kansas Association of Science Teachers, and they told me about Seed to Stem, and they were just so excited and they wanted teachers to come, and I was excited. I think that you don't get very much professional development as far as teaching teachers the activities that we could teach with students, so I was on board with it. It was free. It was something that was very engaging. Everything was given to you. We got there. There's a bottle of water available for you. There's food. All the group leaders were so accommodating and so nice, and it was just really enjoyable experience.
One of the greatest things about education is that teachers teach, and we can teach students or we can teach other teachers. And so Anna and I came back to share what we had learned about some of the activities and extend that to another great group of people.
I had such a wonderful time. I think that I'm going to incorporate all the labs that I've learned. The group leaders were so amazing and helpful. I will bring all the technology and all the labs into my classroom. I can just envision my students doing the labs. I really love the P-Glow lab as well as the protein purification lab, getting out the GFP. With this ethanol plant, I would love to take my students here, go on a field trip. I was even brainstorming an idea about what the students could do as far as project-based and figure out what ethanol is and have them brainstorm, even do a distillation lab in my classroom. I think that this would be really beneficial for me as a teacher as well as the students that I will be teaching. Being in an urban setting, I feel like I don't have very many students that understand the farm life or understand even ethanol or really what a bushel of corn is. So I feel like all of this would be really beneficial, and for them to have an idea of where their gasoline comes from, where energy comes from, the biofuels, so on and so forth.
And Seed to Stem and Kansas Corn did a fantastic job of listening to the teacher feedback from the first workshop and keeping a lot of the things that we love to see, such as the visit to Pat and Mary Ross's farm in Lawrence and coming here to the ethanol plant.
All of the supplies that we got, I got the bag and I felt like it was better than Christmas. I am going to be incorporating the kids into my classroom. It's just something that would be really beneficial for me as a teacher, being able to take that kit to my students and also have the hands-on activities that we did in the lab station. By me being able to work with other teachers, by collaborating with all the other teachers, asking questions to some of the chemistry teachers, some biology, and just getting their feedback. I feel like those kits would be very, very helpful in my classroom, and it would be a real-life, realistic type situation where students would be able to understand how science is truly being made.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
This is Eric Stonestreet, and as many of you know, I love my home state of Kansas. In March, Kansas ranchers lost homes, equipment, and thousands of cattle from the largest wildfires in the state's history. Imagine losing all you have in a fire. Not just your house, but your livelihood. Ranchers are beginning to rebuild, but it will take years and tens of millions of dollars to build back herds, fences, and other infrastructure. Today, I'm asking you to help. Donate what you can and show your support to the ranchers of Kansas. Simply go to kansasfires.com. Your donation is tax deductible and will go to those who need it the most.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
We are basically done with our 2-day camp here at the Seed to STEM program. My name is Chris Remick. I'm from Garden City, Kansas. I'm a high school teacher there. I teach environmental science and zoology. I was referred to this program from a colleague there that said it was really amazing, really awesome. So came here and really haven't been disappointed with that at all.
I'm excited to be here at the Seed to STEM workshop. My community is an agricultural community, so activities to help bring the science closer to the lives of the students is always good. Today I'm working on the distillation of ethanol experiment. I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate that into my classroom. I've done some distillation experiments before, but something where I can actually start from a physical product would be great.
How I got involved with the Seed to STEM, how I became interested, I had one of our other teachers that's at TMP. They had told me they attended it, and then I started seeing the notifications for it through Kansas Corn and decided it would be a good program for me to attend this summer.
And actually just the partnerships with Kansas Corn as well as fellow teachers has been actually quite incredible. I learned a lot, and it's gotten me really excited to get back into the classroom and actually share this with our kids. Because sometimes that's a disconnect. We can teach a lot of content and stuff, but what are they actually doing for those jobs? Here, I teach in the trade academy at the high school, so our kids really want that hands-on. They really want the skills to get in and move into a manufacturing-like job, something with a specific set of skill sets. They're really good with their hands and actually working with that. So these labs, these kits that we're getting from here, and the actually labs that they've developed actually really get us things for our kids to actually do and utilize stuff that's actually in industry. And the cool thing about the industry, like we're at here at the ethanol plant, is making connections with those industry so we can actually get these kids skills to enter into the workforce and have a good workforce and even home grow our own, especially out in western Kansas, when sometimes it's harder to get people to come out that way.
So far, we have done the dissection of a corn plant to find the different parts of it, and then we have started doing our different projects. I'm involved with doing the one where we're doing ethanol distillation.
We're in a very small school district, so I figure that anything that the kids can get in the elementary schools, they're going to benefit from that, and then they're going to be better when I teach them chemistry or physics at the high school. So it's probably easier to do in a smaller school district because the high school teachers and the grade school teachers, we don't get together often, but we do know each other. So if I have, the kits we get, there might be some supplies that I have already in my chemistry classroom, but that my middle school or my elementary school teachers are not going to have.
So our high school right now, the way we're set up is every junior high student goes through our ag class. We do 9 weeks at a time. 7th graders do crop production, 8th graders do animal production, and then in high school we have Introduction to Ag, Animal Science, Advanced Animal Science, the different pathways for the Ag curriculum. And then in Chem 1, I'll be teaching Chem 1, and that'll be all kind of new for me this year. So we would be able to have some of the different experiments that we can do in Ag class as well as in the chemistry lab.
I'm very excited about the classroom kits we get to take back. As you know, classroom financing has been particularly tough in Kansas. There's not very much room for extras, so any kind of support can help me out and help my classroom out, but also the other teachers in our district.
Seed to STEM really provided us with an amazing resource of materials. I believe that goodie bag is like $500 for us to be able to use in the classroom. And yeah, us teachers, I mean, everyone knows that we face financial hardships of trying to provide these materials. And not only to get the materials, but actually what materials do we get? We have to make really hard choices of what we bring into the classroom just based on finances. And they actually gave us a package to do this with tried and tested labs that we actually got to go through ourselves so we can better teach it to our kids. So these products are, man, an invaluable resource for what we'll have in the classroom. And I can just see my kids actually being engaged and actually seeing that, wow, this is something I can do, something I can handle, and possibly something I can actually do a career in.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We're having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
My name is Blake Smith.
And I'm Jed Heath.
And we both teach over here at May South High School, and we're so excited to have Seed to STEM and Kansas Corn down at our school. We were in the workshop last summer, and we learned a lot. And so we actually wanted to bring it down to Wichita, so we offered to host it at our school, and it's working out great.
Yeah, this year we're actually getting to help be lead educators. So we're actually getting a chance to help more teachers and really expand the program this year. Instead of just having one, there's 2 workshops up in Lawrence and then here at May South.
Yeah, and what's really cool, I think, is that we have a lot of people coming back that were at the workshop last summer. So we're able to see them again. They obviously liked the workshop last summer. They want to expand their knowledge. We're not necessarily experts, but we're kind of facilitating, just helping out. And we're coming from the teaching angle. And then we got Heather and Jane going from the expertise angle.
One of the really cool parts that we got to do this year in our training is that we got to incorporate this in our classroom. And we both teach earth science, and so we really tried to look at our curriculum and say, okay, where can we incorporate this training that we got and put it into our classroom? Then also, how can we take this to the other classes such as biology and chemistry and really put it in a whole program for every student to get a little bit each year as they're in the classroom. So one of the things that we did this year is we actually brought in a rep from Monsanto and had them come talk about GMOs to our students after we had taught them what GMOs were, and then they had questions, and that was really cool. And then we ended up doing a Socratic seminar with that. And we also went out to a farm and had a farmer tell us about GMOs and how they're actually being used out there and why they use them. Why does the farmer choose to do that? And that was something that we wouldn't have been able to do or known to do before this course.
Yeah, and one of the big questions our students always had was organic versus GMO. Like, obviously we know the difference, but we don't know the why. Like, what goes into organic farming that's different than GMO? And so by going out to that farm, the farmer is able to give his expertise to our students that we weren't able to provide. So Kansas Corn's been so supportive of the curriculum, and we just hope to keep expanding it year after year.
Blake, what did the corn say as it was being eaten?
See you tomorrow!
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.